HBCU now.
College is for real now.
From the creators of All American.
First day of school is about to be lit.
The highly anticipated new series, All American Homecoming.
I can't even balance tennis and classes. College is a different ballgame, honey. You're not at home anymore.
In a game with no limits.
Did you say you play baseball?
I'm just as competitive in the class as I am on the field.
When you feel like you're striking out.
Look, about practice yesterday, I know I was, the word I'm looking for is extra.
When you're at break point.
I will come for you. You don't run me on or off the court, girl.
You can only play to win.
Even when we start to doubt ourselves, we can point to examples of Black excellence who show us what's possible. We got this.
All American Homecoming, following All American. New episodes tonight on the CW.
But it can also mean more bugs, like fleas and ticks. So don't forget to help protect your pets with Frontline Plus for dogs and Frontline Plus for cats. It's easy to apply, kills fleas and ticks fast, and keeps working all month long. So you can enjoy the outdoors and your pets can get the protection they need. That's why Frontline is the #1 name in flea and tick protection. Trusted for over 20 years. Find out where to buy Frontline products at frontline.com today.
The most popular street name in America? Second. But in a Hyundai, you're always driving on Easy Street with our award-winning SUVs that come in first against the competition. For starters, every Hyundai SUV comes with America's best warranty and complimentary maintenance. Plus, the Hyundai Tucson, Santa Fe, and Kona SUVs are available with premium features, like wireless device charging, Hyundai Digital Key, and blind spot collision avoidance assist. The competition? They must be back on 3rd Street, or 4th, maybe 14th. Hyundai, it's your journey. Own it. Get 1.9% APR for 60 months, or up to $500 in total savings on a 2022 Tucson or Santa Fe, plus complimentary maintenance. See your Sacramento area Hyundai dealer. For well-qualified buyers only. Offer ends 2/28/22. Call 916-398-3537 for complete offer details.
There's Microban 24. Just one spray fights bacteria all day.
Bacteria incoming. Shields up, defenders.
When used as directed, Microban 24 sanitizing spray forms a defensive shield that keeps killing 99.9% of bacteria for up to 24 hours. Touch after touch.
Threat eliminated. Find great deals on new arrivals just in time for spring, like updated floral dresses and sharp suits he'll love, both 15% off. Take time to unwind in soft and comfy pajamas, 25% off. And socks, slippers, and leggings, 20% off. Plus, Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase, except gift cards, services, and fees. Sign up today at Macys.com/Star Rewards. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Makes it delightfully sweet. Roasted nuts make it perfectly salty. Get 2 great tastes in one delicious bar. Enjoy a Nature Valley sweet and salty nut bar today.
Whether that's a sexual innuendo or Tony Stark being actually a supervillain, that is wagertainment.
All the insight you need to bet smarter is at BetQL.com. And listen to BetMGM tonight with Ryan Horvath, Quentin Mayo, and Trista Crick. Streaming weekdays from 7 to 11 p.m. Eastern on Odyssey.
My series returns for its final outdoor season at Thunder Valley. See Styx, John Fogerty, plus Rick Springfield with Men at Work and John Waite. Tickets go on sale Friday, March 4th at 10 a.m. For the summer concert schedule and to purchase tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. And coming in 2023, the entertainment continues at our new state-of-the-art event center, The Venue. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Live out loud.
$3.50 nacho and $4.50 bacon-loaded nacho tiny tacos have nacho cheese flavor in every bite.
Really? Let me see.
Okay. Slow down.
You're right, Jack.
Save one for me. Plus tax, limited time only. Price and participation may vary.
And home internet will never be the same. Say hello to 5G Home. Wireless internet on 5G ultra wideband. Now in your neighborhood. Like at Kelsey's just down the block.
One sec, in the middle of the game.
Ultra fast speeds and ultra low lag. Great for gaming.
And streaming it all to my followers.
All right, Kelsey. And moving on down the street to Tom. Just moved to town and killing it with the ultra simple self setup. Just plug, play, and done with super easy now making crab cakes. Voila! Swinging around the corner to Susie. Oh, sorry to interrupt your binge-a-thon, Susie, but you know there's no annual contracts or extra fees. The price is the price, guaranteed.
Yeah, it's amazing. Now, shh.
sorry. Oh, I love this part, by the way. 5G home internet is here. Plans start at just $25 per month with select 5G mobile plans. That's 50% off. Verizon is going ultra, so you can too. 5G ultra wideband available in select areas. $25 a month for 5G home or $35 a month for 5G home plus internet plans with 5G do more, 5G play more, or 5G get more mobile plans. With auto pay and paper-free billing required. Subject to Verizon agreements and credit approval.
App and listen to Slippery When Wet Radio, and you're automatically entered.
Tickets for the stadium tour are on sale now at livenation.com.
This is going to be insane. Good luck, and we'll see you there with iHeart-Radio.
That's right.
Yep.
How did that make you feel?
It was a good day. Saved me about $1,400 a year.
Wow.
And, been a happy camper ever since.
1-800-777-4AIS. Looking for some right.
Welcome to Del Taco.
Is it back yet?
Welcome to Del Taco.
Hi. Is it back yet?
The wait is over. Crispy Jumbo Shrimp is back in Del Taco's new stuffed quesadilla jumbo shrimp tacos made with queso and cheddar, grilled between 2 flour tortillas and stuffed with crispy jumbo shrimp, lettuce, tomatoes, and yes, more cheese. Get them guacced up, too. Stuffed quesadilla jumbo shrimp tacos only at Del Taco. Del yeah.
Hey, I'm loving this car, but does it really cost $1 bajillion?
That's the sticker price.
Yeah, what's the actual price?
$1 bajillion.
Is there any movement on that?
For you, I can do a bajillion.
You're just saying the same price over and over.
We get it, and we got you. Del Taco's 20 under 2 menu includes 20 fresh-made guaci, cheesy, spicy, and crunchy items for under $2 each, plus drinks and shakes, too. 20 under 2. It's the right menu at the right time, only at Del Taco. Del yeah. Price and participation may vary.
Premium en Circle K. Circle K Premium es nuestro mejor combustible con el doble de aditivos de limpieza, protegiendo tu motor de la corrosión y los daños para que pueda funcionar lo mejor posible, aumentando tu millaje. Además, cuando cargas con Premium en Circle K, puedes ahorrar hasta 20 centavos por galón. Oferta válida jueves o viernes en las tiendas participantes. Para más detalles, visita CircleK.com. Circle K. ¡Qué conveniente!
There's never been a better time to transfer your prescriptions to Walgreens, because Walgreens now accepts all Medi-Cal members with prescription services built for your schedule, like 90-day refills and pharmacy chat. Walgreens makes keeping up with your medications simple. So tell your neighbors, the delivery driver, even that miniature bulldog next to you on the 405. So cute. Walgreens is accepting all Medi-Cal members. Transfer your prescriptions today.
Talk to a pharmacist to see if your prescriptions qualify for 90-day refills.
It's that time of year when spring's in full swing and explosions of life make allergies really zing. Each sniffle and swipe can be a moment of dread as ordinary tissues make noses angry and red. So keep Puffs by your side to soften all your blows. With Air Puff Magic, they'll cushion your nose. Especially during allergy season, a nose in need.
I can have the future I've always wanted. By completing the FAFSA or California DREAM Act application by March 2nd, I can get the most financial aid possible.
At a California community college, you can train for a new career or learn new skills to take you further, so you can earn more. With more than 200 career education programs, guaranteed transfer to four-year universities, and financial aid, your future begins now. Apply for financial aid today at icangotocollege.com.
With Mito, the brand new app, no more lines, no more hassles, no more wasting time, no lost tickets. Tickets are stored in a secure digital wallet, available at a glance on the Mito app.
Mito Lotto is an app right on your smartphone. You can use it to play the lottery from anywhere.
The cool thing is you get automatic winning ticket alerts. You don't have to search through your jean pockets looking for your ticket stubs to find out if you're a winner. And it makes coordinating office pools with large groups a snap.
Check this out. Right now, for a limited time, Mito Lotto is giving River Rockers a free Mega Millions ticket just for downloading this convenient app.
All you need to do to get your free ticket is dial pound 250 and say the keyword lottery. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text with more information from iHeartMedia. That's pound 250 keyword lottery.
Enjoy your Sonic.
Dang, son, this bacon is just hanging out of this burger, dog.
That nice, tangy smoked sauce.
The bacon on this burger is just asking me to eat it.
You should oblige.
Bring home the bacon with the Sonic Bacon on Bacon quarter-pound double cheeseburger. Stacked with 4 slices of crispy bacon and covered in tangy smoked sauce. Try one half price in the app for a limited time only at Sonic.
Yes, get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton. With Big C's, this is Charlton at Big C Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, or the #1 network in the United States of America at Big C Sports. has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to people who love sports, and that would be me as well. All fair and love of war. I want to say, Grando Deportes, Bonjour, the Vinny VJ, say welcome to the show. As predominant the Big City Sports Podcast, really do appreciate that. On 23 applications. Today is a beautiful show sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. You go by and test drive your Sullivan Salton of Big C Sports Venture, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars. Also, all around the universe, you can follow Big C Sports Podcast on 23 podcast applications. Really do appreciate the way things are going with Big C Sports. There's so much going on today in the world, helicopters flying all over. I know there's a lot of junk going on that sometimes we want to keep our eyes closed to, but I just hope that peace can prevail. We have to have that. But you can follow Big C Sports all over the world on 23 podcast applications. Really do appreciate that. On Google, Alexa, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeart-Radio, Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. And I think that got me to 10, and I'm not even tired. But give me some praise. I've been doing more push-ups over the weekend so I can learn how to count to more than just 10 without being winded. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on GeoSavan Podcast out of London, England, Podtail Podcast, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line Podcast. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on Repod, Luminary, Listen Notes Podcast-wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, and the one that still scares me a little bit is allfeast.ai. Get that some praise. Hopefully the robots don't take over too soon. But I think they already have. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast, streaming on TV, on 4 TV platforms, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. Get that some praise. Give smart TVs some praise. If the TV's not smart, then it's not, if that makes sense. We love smart TVs. I love paying homage to my family legacy. On my mother's side, my beautiful great-grandmother, the matriarch of the family, called her Mamo. Just a wonderful woman. Actually did everything possible to keep the family strong, always keeping food in our bellies, making sure we had lots and lots of love. And then my great-grandfather called him Pop, former Negro League baseball player, also very active in the church, and known by his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the universe. And for saying, boys, get out of that barn before lightning strikes. Really do appreciate that. A lot of wonderful things. And then my grandmother, Mud Deer, just a wonderful person, a seer, could look at people and tell you a lot of things about that person and things that may happen even in the future. Really do appreciate all of her knowledge. And then my grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful person, making sure that the family stays strong so we could all get through damn bad times together. And then at the same time, really do a lot more things that have happened with my beautiful mother, the most beautiful mother in the history of the universe. Go to the Head Start program, a food program, and make sure that we also won the Little League Championship of the universe. Give Mama some praise. Come on, I say give Mama some praise for that. A Head Start program, a food program, and win the Little League Championship of the universe. Always stand, rise, and shine. Always rising and shining no matter what. And then on my father's side of the family, the patriarch of the family would be my grandfather, Albert Curry, a former pastor, had 2 churches in Oakland, California, built the 3rd church in Central California, also owned 2 service stations in Oakland, California. Very smart man, always hardworking, making things happen. And then my beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry, working hand in hand with my grandfather with the churches in Oakland, also building a 3rd church in Central California, and then helping with the service stations in Oakland. Really do appreciate that. Always keeping the family strong. And then my father, former retired Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, making sure planes can fly high so we could all stay safe at night. And then my beautiful brother, Todd. Todd's voice sounds like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak, always saying, go forward. Our favorite movie, as I say, was actually, it was Scarface, but that was considered too violent, so we said Pulp Fiction would have to do. And our favorite scene in Pulp Fiction, it was Vin Rames told Bruce Willis before the fight, your butt goes down in the 4th round. And he said, that stinging sensation you're feeling, that's pride flapping with you. Well, fluff pride. I love getting away with that one. Fluff pride. That was a great movie. Anyway, all fair in Leavenworth. And then I love paying homage to my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. Daisy, very smart, double degrees with honors, graduated major university, 3.5 years. Really do appreciate that. Also set up the first interview with Big C Sports when I was at Salem Media, and also when coaches that come to the West Coast would help them get enrolled for merchandising with Big C Sports Podcast. Also, my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. Always tell Malcolm, Wakanda forever. Watch the movie Black Panther. Never let anyone bother you and your family. Really do appreciate Malcolm. Very smart college kid. Knows NBA stats all over the place. Oftentimes will send me NBA stats and knows it inside and out. Really appreciate Malcolm. A very smart, hardworking college kid. Has a really bright future ahead of him. And then Big C, with all his wealth of knowledge in the past, you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. Give it praise. I say give everybody praise. I love giving praise on Big C Sports Podcast. A lot like T.D. Jakes. I grew up in the church. They were always saying give the pastor praise, and I really do appreciate that. And what I love when I start doing Big C Sports, I know a lot of people have stolen it, but it's like, let's get ready to rumble. As I say, welcome to the show. As we dominated Big C Sports Podcast. No script and no three-way teleprompters. No producer in my ear. I walk and talk by faith, not by sight. My show is fresh, just like those Krispy Kreme donuts. They taste better when they come off of the grill. When they come off the grill that dumps them into the pan and the conveyor belt. I do it one time a day. A lot of sports shows, they will loop their shows. You'll hear the same show 3 and 4 times a day. Big C Sports is like those beautiful, tasty donuts. Hey, they're pretty tasty, aren't they? The Krispy Kreme donut, they come fresh off of that conveyor belt into the bucket, and they taste better in your mouth than they do in your hands. I always produce the show. I direct the topic. I broadcast the shows. And then all the sound effects are provided by what comes from the agency. We can all use more laughter in our life. Really do appreciate that. And then the commercials are done. The stats provided. The storytelling. The play-by-play. It was like Luka Doncic for 3. Hey, we didn't want to hear that. Wait a minute. Don't cheer for that. How about what happened at the Crypto.com arena? Can you believe the fans are booing the LA Lakers? Los Angeles, I know fans can boo, and they pay money, they can do what they want. But here's a town that has a team that's struggling right now. And of course, fans are going to boo because oftentimes that's the only power they feel they have. But to hear the boos that cascaded down at beautiful Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles with the Lakers, and they had a loss to the New Orleans Pelicans of all teams. Just a really poor effort. And I contrast that to the Golden State Warriors when they lost and they had a 21-point come from behind win by the Dallas Mavericks. The fans did not boo the Golden State Warriors. They were still trying to cheer them and give them motivation. But fans in LA are a little bit fickle at times. I know it's been that way for a long, long time, but they have done a lot of winning, so they'll get over that. But then we upload the show to 23 podcast platforms all over the world. It actually goes out to one agency, and they do it. And I never missed a show since starting Big C Sports back on September 12th, 2015. I believe I'm the only sports show. I might be wrong because I hear more people giving homage to God, but I think I'm the only sports show in the universe that honors God more than saying God bless you. I really do love giving out scriptures. I grew up in the church, and one of the favorite scriptures that I heard growing up in the book of Genesis, chapter 13, verse 15, it says, "For all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever." In the book of James, chapter 4, verse 2, said, "You have not because you ask not." If you want something, just ask and give the good book some praise. Oftentimes, everything we want in life, you just got to ask for it. If you don't ask, chances are you're not going to get it. It's all fair and love and war. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, "Let there be light." Open your cell phones or your electronic devices and just say play Big C Sports Podcast, and you will see the apps pop up all over the world. In fact, all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. I also love just paying homage to the sports agents and Forbes magazine, where sports agents last year generated over $41.2 billion of contracts in sports. Isn't that amazing? That's why I'm getting my certification to become a sports marketing agent, also with one of the top agents in the country. Really do appreciate that. That's going to happen in 2022. And there's a lot of good people that are making contracts happen, and whether a player is saying he's going to retire or go on to another team, a lot of that's done by sports agent. You look at Superman Jackson, Lamar Jackson, going to sign a big deal coming up pretty soon. Also, there's talk, does Aaron Rodgers want to stay in the Green Bay, or does he want to go on to another team? I would say stay in Green Bay. That's probably the best place for him. They've been to the playoffs in the NFC Championship game 2 of the last 3 years, and they had the home field advantage 2 years in a row. But a lot of sports agents write the biggest contracts, especially for black men. It's a sea change in the industry where oftentimes people can't even get an interview for a job, and people complain about the Rooney Rule. How are we going to fix it? Well, there's no sports agent complaining for sports marketing agents that are trying to sign some of the biggest sports athletes, football, basketball, baseball. They're not going to the owners and saying, will you please give me a chance to interview to coach your team? So some of the world's most powerful sports agents, they don't do it that way. And a lot of them are becoming African-American as are merging into that business. In fact, when you think about it, the top sports agent last year wrote contracts and commissions for his agency earned over $160 million. No football coach earned that amount of money. None of them combined earn that kind of money when you think about it. So why oftentimes are people still begging an industry that will not even give you an interview when you have access to the athletes that make up the industry, mostly African Americans in football, basketball, and baseball? And that's the great thing about the sports marketing agency. Last year in the NFL draft, I believe the top five of the top 10 athletes that were drafted, they had black men as agents, black men and women as agents. And you look at the payout, FIFA allows 10% of the commission, Major League Baseball 5%. I don't know why they're messing around with their money. NHL and NBA allow 4%, and then the NFL caps them at 3% for the earning. There's a lot of money in the business. Even if you look at football agent David Mogoleta made the biggest jump when he's catapulted into the upper echelon of sports agents. He the highest paying NFL agent. He makes more money than a lot of guys. And it's amazing because oftentimes if you look at someone in his shoes, he's not begging someone for a job coaching the NFL. He's not doing that at all. He's the NFL's top representative as well as the highest ranking black agent in the Forbes list. Think about that. He's not even 40 years old. He's a son of U.S. immigrants. Entered the business in 2008 as an interim with Athletes First and became a full equity partner in 2019. In just the last couple of years, he's negotiated several NFL biggest contracts and players that have made a lot of money because of him. But neglecting that cry that we can't get a job and they won't interview us and it's not fair and they only want to give it to the white brethren, and we know that story is an old story. It's an old story. But it's all fair in love and war. And no one made him become a sports agent. He decided to do that obviously because he was around it and someone told him, wait, there's gold in them there hills. And so I look forward to the opportunity. Certification takes time, but being able to be a part of that, I'm really happy to be a part of that too as Big C Sports. I want to rise and shine with that industry. Also, I want to thank the California Lottery. Now, whether it's Powerball, Mega Millions, Super Lotto, gambling, like I say, I'm one of these days, hopefully soon, I'm going to win that lottery. I'm going to win that lottery now. It's all fair and love and war. But when you think about it, there are times when people tend to bite off more than they can chew. I know there's a former coach, Steve Mariucci, coached the 49ers, and now he's working with the NFL Network, I believe. But he had a PSA during the playoffs where he was telling people, if you have issues, go to 800-GAMBLER. That's 800-GAMBLER, GAMBLER. And you can get some help. Oftentimes, people bite off more than they can chew. And it's not intentional, but people have addictions. Over the weekend, I was at an event, a real estate event, and there were people walking outside smoking like every 30 minutes. Crazy. But some people have an addiction. Now, the Supreme Court, they know that people have an addiction too. But think about how the NBA and Major League Baseball are lobbying states to cash in on sports betting because billions of dollars are being wagered in sports books across the United States. The NBA and Major League Baseball, they're looking to reap some of that profits, which to me, it's like a slippery slope. We've already heard of the allegation that Miami Dolphins owner telling a coach to throw games to intentionally lose. I mean, what did he have money? I mean, I have no idea, but it's I think of Jimmy the Greek Snyder, who would come out and tell us back in the day what teams we're going to bet on and what teams. They have an angle to sports that maybe people don't want to know about it, but there's always winners and losers in sports betting. It really is. With every state now available to offer sports betting, professional sports owners are among the big winners. When you think about that. So sometimes even when they lose a game, they make money, they win. Isn't that something? Sports betting legalization? You got to think about it. The Supreme Court said it's possible. I don't bet because I don't want to lose money. I'll buy a lottery ticket every now and then. I mean, everybody has their own little vice, but I know that sometimes people need help and they can call 800-GAMBLER to get the help. Also, man, we have the Veterans Crisis Hotline, and they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. I know what's gone on with Russia and Ukraine and then this foolish talk about being on nuclear alert. It's just so stupid. Just propaganda, hopefully, coming out of Russia. I know a lot of Russian athletes that play hockey with the NHL, and they were talking about things too over the weekend. Some people choose to just not to say anything and just watch sports. But it's bigger than just sports. It's bigger than touchdown, home run, and three-point play. But the Veterans Crisis Hotline, they will stand on their head to make sure you get help. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net, and get our veterans some praise, because they can all use praise. We all need to have someone to lean on every now and then. Really do appreciate that. I want to tell you, so many things are going on in this great country, but I want to say thank you to Budweiser Zero. Oh my goodness, it has 0% alcohol, but it's also 100% honest game. Sports fans, when you're watching the big game, you want to eat the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's awesome exotic meat. Rumor has it tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hands, and I guarantee it does. Also, for the Big C coffee coming soon. Why's your cup gotta be so big? Comes in one size, extra large. You don't need small cups. You have too much left over, take the rest and pour it in your hands or pour it in another cup. What did Chris Rock say? How much for the ribs? And the rest like the tour said, $2.50. Chris Rock said, $2.50? Forget the cup, pour it in my hand. You don't want to pour a Big C coffee in your hand. It might burn your hand. I can't remember the name of that movie. Man, but Chris Rock was in the movie. It was a funny movie, and he didn't want to pay $2.50 for a rib. All fair and love and war. It only comes in one size extra large. I'm going to take what's called a Big C pause, also known as a Big C timeout. When I come back, we're going to talk more about what's going on in this sports universe. In the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. All right, we're back with the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe. Just on 4 TV applications. Really do appreciate that. It's a great day in the neighborhood. Got some NBA schedule tonight. Not a big schedule on a beautiful Monday the 28th of February. Man, I'm so sad. This is the last day of Black History Month. Some people were crying on their social media. Black History Month's over. It's not over. Just look in the mirror. Oh, man. Some people are so funny. But tonight's schedule, we have Minnesota at Cleveland. It's for you. Indiana's at Orlando. Toronto's at Brooklyn. And you have Chicago at Miami. What a game that should be. Game's already underway. All of them are. And then San Antonio at the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis doing a good thing, and Ja Morant's trying to become an MVP of the league. Isn't that something? You have Charlotte at Milwaukee, and then you also have the Sacramento Kings at the Oklahoma City Thunder. So they're trying to do their thing down in the Southwest. Basketball is something else. To see the Lakers get beat down at home at Crypto.com Arena makes you want to maybe they'll change their name back to Staples. So, man, maybe what it is with all the crypto people put their money in crypto, one day you're rich, the same day you're broke. One day you're rich, same day you may be broke. One day they love you, same day they may not. We've all heard that saying, she loves me not. She loves me not. Well, crypto, I'm rich. Crypto, I'm not. So maybe the fans were a little bit upset putting the crypto.com arena and people taking all their life savings to buy crypto. It all's fair in love and war. But I do want to just think about what's going on in the world of NBA basketball. There's a lot of good things that are happening. I think James Harden with Joel Embiid, they've been a sight for sore eyes for Philadelphia. They've really, again, there's only been a couple of games. You got to give them more time. Try back after we get around maybe 5 games to 7 games to see how they work together. But right now, they're looking really good. May even be able to climb up the top of the Big C's power rankings as we get into that later this week. But I know there's a lot of big-time players in the NBA. I'm surprised to see how Golden State dropped their game at Dallas. They were up 21 points and ended up losing that game at Chase Center. That never really is expected to happen over in beautiful San Francisco. But those things have happened. It's all fair and love and war. I just love basketball, but it is interesting to see all the talk about the LA Lakers. Are they going to fire Pelinka? Why? For what reason? He doesn't shoot baskets, but they always make a move with someone. Will it be the coach? You know they're going to keep King LeBron happy as much as they can, but the players just got to play better. And I know that's part of NBA basketball. The fans want to blame somebody. Somebody wants to choose somebody backside up. But you know what? It's a game of you make baskets, you win. You don't make enough baskets, you lose. Firing everybody is not going to change anything. If you got a bad team, you got a bad team. You got to fix the team first. So I really appreciate that. I also want to just touch on, since for some of the media, some of the people online, it's the last day of Black History Month. We got to wait a whole year. I can't believe how some people are so just wired into things. But it was February 22nd, 1956, that Rosa Parks was actually fingerprinted in Montgomery, Alabama, after refusing to give up her seat on a bus for a white passenger. Isn't that something? It had happened December 1st, 1955. And then court records from the arrest of Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr. and others at the time of the Civil Rights Movement being preserved and digitized after being discovered and folded and wrapped in rubber bands in a courthouse box. There are things that happen in this country that makes you wonder, what was it all for? Black Americans have fought every war we've ever had. And just imagine if you're a white woman and you're walking into a building and you want to have a seat. And they say you got to get up because a black man wants to sit there. That's a lot of garbage that black people have to deal with. Isn't it something? And how Rosa Parks with such dignity. Imagine being handcuffed because you won't get up out of your seat. And you're a white lady and a black man just wants to sit down and you said no. Isn't that something? It's a shame. What a shame that society treated beautiful people that way. But that's in the past. I know there's different forms of discrimination that we all go through. But I just believe the society will continue to get better than what it was in the past, because the truth will make everybody free, or at least to that point, hopefully free. So I love just bringing that up as I talk about basketball, etc. But one of my, in fact, the favorite name, some athletes and TV pundits and podcasters will say who's the best athlete in the universe. I don't know. Is it LeBron James? Is it Giannis Antetokounmpo? Is it Steph Curry? Is it James Harden? People still say it was Michael Jordan. Well, Michael Jordan hadn't hit a jump shot in 2 decades. But right now, I can say without equivocation, the best name in the history of the NBA universe would be Curry. From Dale Curry, Seth Curry, and Steph Curry. No doubt about it. That's a trifecta of 4-3. That's when you can really say Curry for 3. Yeah, Curry for 3. Isn't that something? So I say Curry's the best name in the history of the NBA universe. and it's also the best name in the history of the podcast universe. Curry for 3. Yes, I would say so. But I also say it's not just talk, because even though they dropped their game to the Dallas Mavericks, a little story, Jason Kidd played at St. Joseph High School at Alameda. It's called St. Joseph Notre Dame of Alameda, California. That's where he played his high school basketball before he went on to star at Cal Berkeley, and they ended up beating Duke. And I remember that. And so with him being part of the Mavericks organization, just coming back to the Bay Area, and his team got their groove on and got a win over the Golden State Warriors. But when you think about it, there's a school of thought that doesn't consider Curry a true point guard. When you're the greatest shooter of all time, it's hard to argue against not being the best shooter, obviously. But the word shooting, when you think about it, he does it all over the court. And another great thing about what Curry has done, the Golden State Warriors just made guard history thanks to his co-star Klay Thompson. This is deeper than who's your favorite player. It really is, because they do it on the court. In the Warriors' recent blowout win over the Portland Trail Blazers before their loss to Dallas. Now, it was Thursday night. Steph Curry found Klay Thompson for a three-pointer. It was one of his 14 assists of the evening. Would you believe that marked the 1,000th time that Curry has found Thompson for 3? Isn't that amazing? His accolades keep climbing. They keep climbing in the NBA basketball universe. And so that assist to Klay gave Steph Curry, which is arguably the best shooter ever, especially for three-point shooters. It made him a prestigious point guard, hit a milestone in NBA history, becomes just the 7th point guard in NBA history to record 1,000 assists to a single teammate. And that feat has never been done by a non-point guard. That's something that he's done. When you look at what he's been able to do, becoming the 7th player in the play-by-play era to assist a single teammate in 1,000 or more times. It was John Stockton and Karl Malone. They had it 1,572 times, but they're retired. They're not going to have any more assists. Tony Parker to Tim Duncan. They did it 1,533 times, but those guys are retired. Russell Westbrook still doing his thing, and Kevin Durant 1,465 times. Now, they're still playing. And then Chris Paul to Blake Griffin, they're still playing 1,157 times. Steve Nash to Amar Stoudemire, 1,155 times. Mike Conley, Marc Gasol, 1,121 times. Chris Paul to David West, 1,120 times. And then as of last Thursday, you had Steph Curry to Klay Thompson 1,000 times. And when you think about it, the rest of the names on that list, point guards, status of everyone else has never quite been in question. But Steph Curry, he did this the same year that he set the three-point shootout, not the shootout contest, but the three-point shot championship, set the record at Madison Square Garden. So he's just an amazing player. And no matter what people think about, is he the best player right now, or is it LeBron James, or Giannis, or Kyrie Irving, is it Durant, whoever it is, Steph Curry has the records. He can just say, look at my record. And that sets up a lot of who's the best player right now. Because, I mean, LeBron's the all-time scoring leader in the history of the league with total games and then playoff games, etc. But Steph Curry hasn't been playing as long as LeBron. But when you think about it, when Steph has the ability to pull defenders toward him and at least his teammates open, a lot of people don't have the ability to do that. Steph Curry, he averaged 6.5 assists per game for the Warriors. His career, that spanned over a decade now. And it may not scream as much as Russell Westbrook or Chris Paul's lofty stats. But think about it. He's the three-point shooting king. The three-point shooting king, and those guys are not. So I like the way he plays the game. He plays it with a lot of passion. And no matter what people think about the best player, give Steph Curry some praise. Come on, give that brother some praise, praise, praise. All's fair in love and war. Really do appreciate what he's able to do with the basketball. You know, I know we're getting so close to one shining moment for college basketball. if you're into it the way I am, it's still hard to find a team that has players that go from freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior seasons. And so over the weekend, in the Bay Area, again, another monumental task, St. Mary's, the Gales, they upended number 1 Gonzaga to end a wild day of upsets. I think there was, in the NBA, not NBA, but in college basketball, it was one day when I think 6 other top 10 men's college basketball teams lost. So 7 in one day. And number 1 Gonzaga also fell. St. Mary's ranked number 23. And some polls came out on fire in a big lead and just enough to knock off the Bulldogs, who are now 24-3 and fall to 13-1 in the West Coast Conference. And they hang on for a 67-57 win. It was on Saturday, so a lot of things were happening in the Bay Area. Golden State went down over the weekend, and then Gonzaga went down over the weekend as well. And so now you have Gonzaga was a clear-cut favorite to get, I guess they're going to be a top overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Maybe not, though. But they'll be a number 1 seed in one of the regions. Most likely they'll get the West region number 1 seed. And when you think about it, it's amazing that team. They had not lost in early December, ripping up 17 straight wins before Saturday's setback. Isn't that something? They're a very good team from a small school. It's the team's first loss in the West Coast Conference this year, which is vastly improved this year, and has 4 teams in the projected tournament field. So that's a conference that even I have knocked at times. But when you think about Gonzaga, the Zags had not lost the West Coast Conference play since February 22nd, 2020. It lost at BYU. The Gales are 24-6. They're 12-3 in the West Coast Conference. Got a huge play from the veterans, players on their team. And are they going to make some noise in March Madness? They'll probably get in. But it's something else to see Gonzaga go down again. And it's good to see them go down to a West Coast Conference team as opposed to going out of conference and being beaten. So that's part of life. And Timmy didn't have his best game, but that happens when you turn up the heat. That gym over at St. Mary's, they have it's a small gym, holds about 2,800 fans, but the crowd got very loud, and they make it tough on players from the opposing teams coming in there. So that's a big win by St. Mary's College, knocking off the Gonzaga Bulldogs. I want to touch on a little bit of some what's going on in the world of football, because I know football is amazing. Everybody's talking about, when can we get football back? Even the stories of, is a guy going to retire or not, takes up a lot of the attention in the world of the sports universe, because football is so big. People want to know who's going to play where. Are they going to retire? Are they going to keep playing? But there's some things that are going on in the world of football, just the NFL. The NFL, in the NFL universe, they're going to play games in Germany. I remember we used to have the World League of Football and the World League of American Football. They were already over there. But Tampa Bay Buccaneers will play their first NFL regular season game in Germany. It's going to play its first regular season game in Germany this year. And then the Green Bay Packers, they're traveling abroad also for the first time. Lambeau Field, no. They're going to take a game from Lambeau Field and take them across the pond. Now, the league said that the Buccaneers will host the inaugural game in Munich next season, although their opponents for the game have yet to be announced. The historic game will play a crucial role in the NFL's efforts to grow its international footprint while allowing to get directly engaged, fans directly engaged with the NFL in Germany. Now, the Buccaneers co-owner Joel Glazer said in a statement they're looking forward to the travel. All's fair in love and war. Now, the Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints are the designated teams for 2 games at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, England, while the Jacksonville Jaguars host a game at Wembley Stadium, and that's a beautiful stadium also. So the Jaguars are in London. They've been there before, just last season, I believe, having come every year since 2013, except for 2020, when the international games were canceled because of the pandemic. The Arizona Cardinals, they're going to play a game at Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. And then the Packers are the only franchise among the NFL's 32 teams not to have played a regular season game in London since the international series started back in 2007. So you know Aaron Rodgers is not going to leave. He's not going to miss on his chest to go across the pond and have some tea. He's not going to skip on that. And I'm sure they'll all get Big C burgers. They're all tasty burgers, and they come with what's all the exotic meat as well as the Big C coffee. Imagine taking the Big C coffee to England. You can't hold that with your pinky finger. Why is your cup got to be so big? All Fred Leavenworth, but the NFL is doing its part to get the league expanded. The Green Bay Packers excited to make their international debut during the 2022 season. The Packers president, Mark Murphy, said, "The fans in the UK and elsewhere in Europe have been eagerly awaiting an opportunity to see the Packers playing in their backyard, and they know their fans in the United States will travel to London." I doubt it. They're not going to travel to London to see a game. They can have it in their own backyard at Lambeau Field. Oh, fair Leavenworth. But it's funny. Our fans will travel to London to watch us play a football game. No, they won't. They're going to just watch it on television. Anyway, I love football. I think it's amazing the fact that you can go all over the world, and the Super Bowl is one of the biggest sporting spectacles in all of sports all over the world. They have so many media credentials that are issued for the Super Bowl, as much as you'll have, maybe not as many as the Olympics, of course. But when it comes to after that, I think the Super Bowl has more press credentials issued for different countries than any other sport. And that's my opinion. I can't 100% confirm that, but I know it has to be pretty close to it. You know, I also want to talk about something that is also going on in sports, because I know people have their own opinion about it and how can they fix things and make things better. They want to make the world a better place. And I think about what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys. And obviously they had a settlement, but they've also said, if you heard the news, that the Dallas Cowboys, they feel that they have a great culture, even though they had to pay out a lawsuit. They settled on it. Now, I know everybody has their own thoughts about it, but how can you have a great culture when you settled a lawsuit? It was actually Vice President Stephen Jones says the Dallas Cowboys have a solid culture, even amid their allegations. They paid out $2.4 million for voyeurism, and the Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones did not comment on some reports, but they're still saying they have a great culture when asked about the feelings regarding the culture of the Dallas Cowboys. And he says he feels like they have a solid culture after a breaking competition committee, when they talked about what happened at the NFL scouting combines in Indianapolis. You can always be better. You can always strive to get better every day in every way. And he's right about that. But they paid a settlement, it's an oxymoron to come back and say that you have a good culture, even though we just paid a settlement for voyeurism. And of course, that makes a lot of women feel there's a lot of bias that goes on in our society. But even on a sports team, how do you feel when they paid out a settlement to quiet mouth so there would not be further allegations, and then say we have a good culture? That's an oxymoron. I'm sure they're trying to do the best they can to make the workplace a better place for everyone. And they were telling team officials that there was a gentleman by the name of Daryl Maple that entered the cheerleaders' locker room and used the bathrooms, not knowing the women were not knowing the women were there. Why are you in the women's bathroom anyway? And then left right away, a team source said in a statement. But the gentleman retired in January and said that allegations were false. False allegations, but you admitted being in the women's restroom. How's that a false allegation? He just admitted he was in a women's restroom. Oh, but the allegations were false. Okay, maybe he mistakenly walked into the women's restroom. But I doubt that. I mean, I don't know. You want to give him the benefit of the doubt? There's $2.4 million to say that not even the Cowboys gave him the benefit of the doubt. But for all the women that deal with that garbage on a daily basis, just want to make sure that at least I keep that on the top of the mind, because no one should ever have to deal with that garbage on their own. But the Cowboys, they feel that paying out $2.4 million says, hey, we got a good culture and we're sticking by it. And that's their story and they're standing with it. Who knows? If you believe it's a great culture, you can believe that all you want to. But again, the $2.4 million says that is not a great culture. And I just hope that everybody in every work environment can realize we got to make the workplace safe for everybody. It just has to be. It's one thing to say, oh, well, I thought I was in the men's bathroom. No, most men know when they're in the men's restroom or a woman's restroom. And for the women that made the allegations, for the Cowboys to say they have a good culture, they're saying the women are lying. Well, if the women are lying, why'd you pay out the $2.4 million? Oh, we just wanted to make it go away. Well, maybe that's true too. But they just told the women that got the $2.4 million, you're all liars. You're liars! We're just going to give you the money anyway. It doesn't make any sense. But sometimes things don't make sense. They just happen anyway. But that's a lot of money that you're going to pay out when you're innocent. And I'm not being naive. I know oftentimes a lawyer may say, hey, just pay the money out of court so you don't end up having to write a bigger check if we go to court and lose, because that could be even more painful. All's fair in love and war. I want to touch on some college basketball. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, I'm going to talk more about what's going on in the college basketball universe. Former California governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as a Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe and streaming on 4 TV applications. Really do appreciate that. I want to just talk some. I know we're coming up on one shiny moment with college basketball. One of my favorite events is watching March Madness. And I'm just going to look at some of the conferences right now and mention some of the teams that may make a splash, as well as who has the better conference to play in. But right now, I'm going to start off with the Big 12 conference. They're going to have some really good teams in March Madness. In my opinion, Baylor's going to be a shoe-in, as well as Kansas, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and Texas. They should all be able to get in, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the Big 12. It's amazing. They're one of the dominant basketball conferences, and you still have Oklahoma and Texas wanting to leave the state. I guess the biggest conference would be the Big 12 with all the Texas schools. But they're going for more TV revenue, and they're going to join the SEC, and that's their choice. They're going to do that. But when you think about the Big 12, they had some key non-conference wins with Baylor last year over Michigan State and Villanova, Oklahoma over Florida and Arkansas, Kansas over Michigan State, and Texas Tech over Tennessee, West Virginia over UConn, and Iowa State over Xavier, Memphis, as well as Creighton back in the day. And so I'm looking at them having a really solid showing. Again, that conference produced last year's college basketball national champion with the Baylor Bears knocking off the Gonzaga Bulldogs. I'm going to say number 2, it's just Big C's thoughts, and the college basketball top conferences, I'm going to say the Big Ten. And teams that should get in from the Big Ten, in my opinion, you have Purdue. They're going to get in. They may even win the Big 10 tournament. And then Michigan State will be there. Wisconsin will be there. Ohio State will get in, as well as Illinois should also be another representative from the Big Ten getting in. Big Ten has big non-conference wins over Loyola Chicago, and then UConn as well. Ohio State over Duke. They beat Duke. Duke's going to be maybe a top seed. Wisconsin over Houston. And then Purdue over North Carolina, which is having a tougher year this year. And they also beat Villanova. Maryland knocked off Florida. So you know the Big Ten is doing their thing on the hardwood. I'm going to say that the third conference in college basketball, I'm going to have to go with the SEC. And primarily because of Auburn. Auburn's a very good basketball team, but they got had over the weekend too. And then I got to look at LSU. They're a solid team. Kentucky has a good program. They're always good. Tennessee, they're a very good basketball team. And then you have Alabama. Alabama had a big win. They knocked off Gonzaga last year in December, even though this basketball season. And they beat Houston. Auburn had wins over Loyola Chicago. Kentucky knocked off North Carolina, but a lot of people have Tennessee over North Carolina and Arizona, and a big win over Arizona. Georgia over Memphis. So the SEC is rolling strong in the world of college basketball. I put that conference at number 3. I really like the way they played down the I mean, they're going to have a strong tournament. I'm going to say the number 4th conference in college basketball. I'm going to go with the Pac-12 conference. Specifically, you have Arizona, even though they got had. Also, a lot of top teams went down. Arizona is going to be in there in the tournament. I'm going to put UCLA also in the tournament. Got to put USC in the tournament. And I'm still thinking that maybe, just maybe, Oregon might find their way in the tournament. All's fair in love and war because of how well they played. Some key Pac-12 wins in non-conference play have been UCLA over Villanova, USC over San Diego State, Arizona over Michigan, and they knocked off Illinois to the Big Ten power. So they've done that. Now, the Pac-12 also, they've been adversely impacted by COVID-19 disruptions more than most. And its overall data hasn't helped much by the top dog UCLA having missed almost a month earlier this season before falling to Oregon 84-81 in overtime at home because of the COVID issues that have dealt with the Pac-12. So when you think about how strong this conference is, outside of the top 3, UCLA, USC, and Arizona, I'm just going to say that Oregon may have a chance. That's my opinion. I know Colorado had a big win over Arizona, but I'm going to say that they're going to get 4 solid teams in. I'm also going to say it might not be the best conference so far this year, the way they've been over the years, but the ACC, going to put them in the number 5. And obviously, you got Duke. And you say, well, why would they be 5? The conference is down. I'm doing it for Coach K, and that's the only reason. The ACC has wins in non-conference play. Duke over Kentucky and Gonzaga. North Carolina over Michigan. Notre Dame over Kentucky. And Syracuse over Indiana. But Duke is they're the king of that conference. They're the reason that I'm calling them in and saying that they're going to be raked up there in the top. I'm also going to come back and say the Big East. Not what they used to be back in the day, but they still have Villanova. They have Xavier, Seton Hall, and even going to throw in Providence. But the record versus ranked teams in non-conference are only 7-10, but they do have some big wins. Villanova over Tennessee, Providence over Wisconsin, Texas Tech, Xavier over Ohio State, and Virginia Tech, Seton Hall over Michigan, and Texas, Marquette over Illinois and West Virginia, and then UConn over Auburn, and then Butler over Oklahoma. So there's a lot of thought as to who's going to get in. And the thing I love about college basketball when it comes to their seedings, we have Power 5 in football. There are no Gonzagas in college football. They can exist in basketball, and there are no Villanovas in college football. They can exist in basketball. They can do that. And when you look at a school like a San Diego State, they're not going to be a Power 5 team in football, but they can in basketball. I mean, I love the way sports is played, and it gives more teams with March Madness that one shiny moment and a chance to do what we want to see done in this country is give teams a chance to compete. And I love bringing that up. So I want to say for all the one shiny moment, give that some praise. Give it praise. All's fair in love and war. I also want to just close off today's show. We have, just listening to the news around the world this morning, a lot of athletes but playing the NHL are from Russia. And Russia's stock market was closed today. Russian banks can't get money out of European Union banks. And then President Biden has a State of the Union speech coming up tomorrow on March 1st. And so Biden announced his plan to lower the cost for American families during the State of the Union address. And it's an important address because of all the tension that's going on over in Russia and Ukraine and the United Nations. I know a lot of people have the chance to think that sports can distract everybody, but at the same time, got to take our head out of the sand. But President Joe Biden will discuss the state of the United States economy during Tuesday night's State of the Union address. And he's going to focus on a new plan to lower costs for American families and administration's effort in the labor market's recovery. And we're going to have that senior administration officials told reporters on a call previewing the remarks. And also he's going to tout economic gains over the past year. He's going to underscore there's more work to do. And that's always the case when it comes to politics. But I know people use sports as a way to get our mind off of things. I just hope that we can have cooler heads prevail. We don't need war. No one, even when I listen to some of my radio friends that say, oh, we got to be tougher on talks of war and toughness. Well, no one's signing up to go join the military other than the people who are already in it. No one's signing up to get off the radio and go take their family members and go and line up to fight for the country. So tough talk is enough of that. Detente depends on cooler heads prevailing, and I hope that cooler heads prevail, and I hope that he'll talk about that in the State of the Union speech tomorrow. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? And Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. All these Big C burgers make me light on my feet. And the Big C coffee, why the cup gotta be so big? They say, rumble, young man, rumble. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help, because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.